Hi everyone, SoulServer17 here. Let me get through this like usual. I don't own the picture, and this is an unpaid video, okay, because I made the thumbnail. Anyways, well, if you guys are wondering what I mean by that, this is the high school DxD version of, Satan. Basically, he is, well, if you know high school DxD lore, then you know him, a fallen angel, along with God, and all of the factions fought in a war, and basically all of them, the three leaders of the faction died. The devils basically made the four Satans. Basically, Lucifer, Beelzebul, Leviathan, and the last one I don't know, but basically though, yeah. So that is what, basically, that is what I know of, and the fact is, I kind of wanted to have a little change with it. This one is going to be a combination between my own and the canon storyline. You base my ideas with, own story to it, with the canon storyline kind of intertwined with each other. But basically, let me give you some background information. And I'll try to make this quick as possible. Don't worry. So basically, Satan, as we know, probably from high school DxD, if we can guess right, he was probably, one of the brothers, basically, well, one of the brothers of an angel, basically, let's say it, Michael and Gabriel. We all know Gabriel's a girl in the high school DxD, anime. So basically, though, I'm saying, if that is correct, then, basically, we all know what happened. War happened, trying to, with God. He was cast out. Boom. Came to an underworld. Became a devil. And, yeah, became the king of it. And so, basically, this is kind of after the fight with Draig and Albion. By the way, Draig was already defeated by, Satan, which he was going by Lucifer at first, which his name was Lucifer Satan, but he kind of just went by Satan mostly as his title, the king. So, what happens was this. He basically defeated Draig. Draig became a pet, but also a close friend since he could talk. And in truth, Draig did not mind since he was defeated by the king. Yes, the Dragon Domination. This was when Draig was somewhat still not in his prime strength. So this was way before Albion and him fought, and became known as the Heavenly Dragons. So they fought. He won. He became a pet and a friend, and well, a lot of stuff happened in the underworld because of Satan. So, the basically destruction power that Rias and her family has was taught to them by Satan, by Lucifer, basically. And that kept on, going to their bloodline and stuff. So, basically, a lot of stuff we know in high school DxD, let's just say he was the cause of it. He helped out with them. And so, though, this is kind of after the end of it, and the, fight. Satan is basically panting, and someone with, silver hair and silver eyes came up to him. He's like, my king. He's like, Satan's eyes are like, Vali, come on. When we're alone, you don't have to say that. He was like, sorry, brother. He was like, I'm sorry for my state. Just that took a lot of, energy just to help out defeat, He's like, yes, Draig was a good friend of yours. Yep. I'm afraid I won't be able to help out in any of the wars. Part of the war that will come after this. Which, Vali, okay, by the way, Vali is not the actual Vali where we know. He's kind of, Vali, you kind of can get it. You kind of can get it. If you guys don't get it, allow me to explain. Vali is technically, you could say, the reincarnation of his, ancestor. Because he looks exactly like him. Basically, imagine Vali, then imagine this guy being Vali, because they look exactly the same. Even the same voice. So technically, he is the reincarnation. Reasons why. They are brothers is because they are blood brothers, basically. Lucifer kind of shared his blood. Well, let me say, kind of shared his blood with him. So, hence the reason why this is gonna happen. So, after, you know, actually, this story just happened, but basically, after, well, basically, he's saying that he goes, how much magic did you use? He goes, I'm nearly out. I'm actually about 5% of my magic abilities. But, so I'll have to go to a deep sleep for 50 years. Which Wally is shocked, but understands. He goes, what's going to happen to us in the meantime? What about our leader? He's like, brother, listen. I need you to take my place as king. You're the one I trust the most of everyone. And you're the one who showed me the most kindness when I first arrived in the underworld. So please. As he is shocked by this, but he goes, but I don't have your name. And he goes, you really think so? Then fine. As your king, I declare you Vale Lucifer, a relative of mine. The second ruler of hell if I shall fall. Well, not hell. The underworld. Well, tell me the underworld is it? So, yeah. It technically is in this series. I'm not trying to curse, but but basically though. Yeah. So Ravello's shocked by this, and he goes, besides, you have my blood. We're only half brothers, but still. Brothers nonetheless. At least you're better than all my other siblings who abandoned me. In which Volley nods. And so Volley and him go to a cave that is in an unknown country at this time. It's that island. As well. What happens next is Volley makes a seat for him basically to rest and fall asleep in. He goes, I'll see you soon in 50 years. He goes, yes. And it seems like we have an announced guest. As basically Satan is walking into his, cave. Give me a minute. Sorry guys if you heard that sound, that was annoying. So anyways though, in a bright light after he says that, after he sits down basically, God appears. I'm not gonna hide it, it's his father, so why not? So God appears and Lucifer, he's like, Father, what is it? He's like, please, come back. I mean, it's kind of like saying please come back, basically. He's like, not to sleep, but because he wants to kind of end this war somewhat, basically while he's weakened, so that way, his son wouldn't stop it, but he goes, nice trick. I know you care, but you also want this war to end. I'm sorry, but I will not. My brother here will take my place. And so God looks at him and then sighs. It was fine, but at least let me do this for you. As then he's basically making the magical circle that's going to keep him sealed away, and basically to stop anyone from coming in or awaken him and such. He goes, which before anything, he goes, why? He was like, I still care for you. So, I'm still your father after all. And he just chuckles and I understand. But anyways, I wish the both of you good luck in your fights to come. So basically, after that, he basically, starts to, sleep. And God looks at Vali looks at God, and they both shake hands. And Vali says, this is the first time we ever met in person. He goes, yes. I believe we should get to know each other at least for now. While we still have some peace, as Vali nods. 25 years later, God and Vali, came to, Satan's, became to Satan's, sealed away cave that he's been sleeping in. As basically God asked, did you get everything? He goes, yes, I did. Did you? He was like, yes, everything's prepared. In which then Volley says, if this comes to be, true, then by the time he awakens, we'll be dead anyways. At least give him a life that he can actually be happy with. In which he nods. And so many books form out behind Volley with a magical circle. And God, putting his hand over all of them, suddenly goes into the cave itself because he phases right through because it's its own magical seal, and then starts to pour all this knowledge into Satan's head. And so, we then have basically God increasing Satan's brain capacity of knowledge, which though Volley would ask, would this help at all, or would this basically be a problem? He's like, no. Will be done with all the knowledge you have of the underworld spells. Even though he has mastered and trained everyone in, new ones have been formed in the last 25 years. But this will also help what I'm about to do. So after all the knowledge has been, basically, imagine though, the text of the pages glowed, but then little energy of light came off of those texts, and it went right into, this man's head. This man's head, basically. And, then, God does a, simple glowing light over, sun, as then he basically says that I also now give him the ability to learn everything of the world that has happened or transpired, so that he will know what has been going on. Any magic, spell, events of history, he will know. In which Volley says, pretty amazing. Maybe I should give him something too. As then, with some of his magic, he casts a spell on him to basically where his ability to understand, to comprehend, along with the natural ability to, easily do anything. How should I say this? Learn a new technique, learn new spells, find portions, fishing, cooking, all that with a relative ease that will only take about probably a week or two, depending on what it is. And so, after Volley explains that to God, he says that is good, but there's something else that's missing. What is it? As then Volley goes wait, combine your energy, in which technically God looks into Volley's head and he sees what he's thinking. And since, he thinks this is a good idea, he basically got in, demonic and holy energy become into one, and then basically they shoot out it, as basically they both chant, if you ever have a child, if you ever basically get reincarnated, all these abilities that you have gained, the knowledge, the skills, will always go to you still. For this is a gift and your curse. So yeah, basically it's a gift and a curse. So you guys can say whatever, but yeah. So after that, the light dims down as basically the books disappear. Then God says, those books were holy and demonic, right? Which Volley does not. He was like, I basically had them all stored away in my, dimensional space that you basically gave me all the books. They basically would now return back to, heaven. This could be a problem. Are you sure we're gonna die? In which he nods. But do not fret. In our place, he'll awaken. And there'll be new leaders. I just pray for my, son Michael's safety. I asked him to guard over if he ever had a child, and told him what he'll do. Wait, I almost forgot one other thing. As Volley says, what? We're wasting too much time. Someone can basically find us. As basically God goes I know. Hold up. So basically he goes back over, and then he basically infused a seal into, Satan, to basically suppress his magic ability and power, to basically make him a human. Yes, Satan's gonna be human. He basically, though, Volley is shocked because he had not sensed that magic energy, from his brother, as, basically half-brother, blood brother, whatever. As then all of a sudden, then he goes, and a little touch. As then all of a sudden, you know, another glow happens as then he gets out of the seal, and then it starts to then turn into an actual, like, looks like an actual wall, like the cave. There was no cave. In which he goes, "What did you do?" He was like, "I've sealed away his magical ability and his aura to where he only seems like a human, but I still let him use at least a few spells for him to, well, for him to still be able to use. Some ones that may be some god tier ones, some lower mid tier, the ones that are suitable for him. But he will not be able to regenerate nor heal himself if anything happens, like a fatal wound. So he could die." Which Follow just says, "Let's hope he doesn't." In which God nods and says, "Just pray." And then, they both leave. And, well, the next 150 years later, actually, I think it'll be like to the canon time period. Well, technically before 17 years before Issei is born, technically canon, but it's really like from basically from our time point from like the very beginning of the anime, 17 years. So basically, God and Vali and the fallen angel have died, and the factions basically have. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm downstairs because I'm gonna be making my my lunch soon, and that scared me. That made me jump a little. I'm not gonna lie. If you can't laugh at yourself, then what can you laugh at, right? Anyways, so like I said, Satan's seal is broken. Unknown. I did forget to mention that he extended it not to be 50 years. It's to be where he believes that he'll actually be okay. So when it breaks, Satan awakens, and when he gets out, well, he basically sees what he's looking at. He's on a cliffside as he sees basically a city. He goes, "What the? Where am I?" As then all of a sudden he gets all this knowledge in his head just hit him all at once, but he just clenches his head for a few minutes, but then he understands everything. He's able to handle that much knowledge at once because of the capability that he was given. So, he's like, "No, it can't be true. It can't." As he basically looks to the side, he basically sees a note. This was before the day, the whole entire death thing was going to happen. So it's a note from Vali. It was like, "Dear brother, if you're seeing this, you awakened. My time of death will come. And you'll never be able to sense me again. You probably can't now. You probably got the knowledge of everything that has happened in this world. I'm sorry. I failed you. But I know you'll still live. So, I pray for your safety if I can." Funny. But, anyways. I just hope we'll be able to meet again in the next life. I'm not good at this, goodbyes, but Goodbye, my king. As basically, that's what the note ends. As, basically, he's basically mad, and, he wants to agree, but he knows he's been away for too long, but still, the tears are starting to come down from his eyes, and he does take an hour to stop. So, after that, he gets up, and in which he basically then reflects on what he has gained of knowledge of. So basically he sees God, seeing the future, and he knows it was true. He basically sees their deaths, but he also sees what they did. To his surprise, he saw the events that have happened in full detail, as I said. And so while he was further going in, he basically sees the last moments of God, and basically, let's pretend he basically sees him looking at him. He's like, "Well, seems like you're awake. That's good. I want you to live well, my son. Please." Which, he's shocked by this, and then he goes, "I gave you a few spells for you to help out. Um, a simple transformation spell that'll make an illusion isn't really that. It's more of a spell that will transform you into an actual look you want. So I hope you like it. Just please survive as long as you can. That's all I want from you." In which, technically, it was a last moment, so, kind of short, not that sweet, because it was kind of like, Russian because he's deaf, so, yeah. But anyways, so basically, after that, he basically opens up his eyes, and he just chuckles. He goes, "You always were just you." Alright then. Let's see what this world has in store for me. As he snaps his fingers, as his hair changes from brown to brown and brown eyes, as he can feel wherever he was changed, and yeah. So this is what it's like. I like this. So basically, let's just say he had a first rough start, and then he found Issei's mom, and basically they had Issei. We would technically go to where Issei is now, but yeah, actually we just are. We're gonna go to Issei. He is basically by himself in his room at this. Well, actually no, he's not by himself in his room. He is basically in his room, and Aria's grandmother is there. She's basically just sighs and relief, saying the evil pieces took. To my surprise, it was 8 evil pieces, my pawns. But how did I have them so mutated ones? I only had 1. Did I not notice them at the time, or were they changed because of him? Does that matter? I should probably get. And then she basically gets a call. She goes, "Akano, what's wrong?" Basically by magic circle, and she goes, "We have a mission from your brother, basically a stray devil." And she goes, "Fine, I'll be on my way." As basically she looks at Issei, and then basically a magical circle happens underneath her feet, and then she's teleported away. After this few more minutes, Issei, his eyes start to glow red, like he opens them and his eyes are glowing crimson red as his hair turns black with a tint of blue. So it's just black with a tint of blue, basically. And then, basically this magical aura started to surround him. But as soon as it happened, it quickly dissipated, as then his eyes became green. Emerald green, basically. So, he basically just, sitting on his bed, and then he wakes up. His eyes were open, but then he just wakes up. He goes, "What the? How am I? I should be dead, right? I had a spear in my stomach. Yuma." As what happened to his father happens to him, he gets all this knowledge, all the events that happen in the world, from heaven and the underworld to the war to basically everything. As he's basically clutching his head because, just like his father, for a few seconds it came in his mind, but then it became at ease. As then he sighs, he goes, "Wait, this is true then. My father, no, it can't be." So we have a flashback to Issei in middle school. He's basically in his first year of middle school, and he's hanging out with his basically his friends that he made, before they became perverts. Issei wasn't one, but because I hang out with him, people kind of think he was too. So normal stuff that's gonna happen. Anyway, so he's basically just hanging out with them in school, but then all of a sudden, the principal called him, to the office, in which he comes to the principal's office "Yes, what's wrong, sir?" He goes, "Issei, you need to go to the hospital." He's like, "Wait, what? What do you mean?" He goes, "Listen, this hospital just called. They basically asked your parents what school you were at, and they called here." Which was like, where? As if it's such a hospital, as then he basically, the principal says, I'll drive you there. And when they get to the hospital, Issei runs into the room. He sees his mom and dad are on a bed, but his mom has her eyes closed, while his dad said, Issei, you there. As Issei, runs over to his dad and, clutches his hand, and he's like, I'm here, Dad. What happened? He's like, sorry, kiddo. Looks like we got hit by a car. We're lucky that we survived this long. Your mother tried so hard to stay with us till she could say goodbye to you. But she couldn't. With his eyes wide, he was like, Dad, listen, remember the stories I told you? They are true. And, well, don't deny what will happen. But more personally, I want you to promise me you'll live, no matter what. And you'll survive. And make your own, path in life. And follow it. Which Issei, crying and nods, is good. I just hope you'll have allies when you're older. As then he basically dies, and Issei doesn't understand what that meant. So, Issei was not in school for the past couple of days. He basically, was at his parents' funeral, and someone came up to him. Someone with red hair. And I think, just I want to double check something. Okay, with a person with blue eyes come to him. As he puts his hand on Issei's shoulder. As Issei looks up at the man, he was like, Who are you? Which, he was crying still. No matter what, come on. I'm basically doing this to Issei. I had to make him at least emotional. So he goes, I don't believe we ever met, but I know your father. I'm a close friend of his. And sorry, it's kind of funny. You look so much like him. But either way, I'm here to help you. He's like, huh? What do you mean, help? He goes, well, you can't live on your own now, can you? He goes, huh? Wait, does that mean... He goes, no, I'm not going to be living with you, but... Because that meant you can't live on your own because you can't handle the expensive to live in the house still. And, you're going to need to mature faster than others, right? Which Issei does not. So, he goes, I'll be taking care of the expense of the house. But you will have to, get a job and, be independent somewhat. I'll help you out whenever it's needed. And I'll come by and check up on you every so often. Every once a month. How's that? Which Issei does ask why. He goes, which then this man says, because I made a promise to your father. I'll be there for you since, you have no other relatives. In which Issei is just looking down and says, oh, okay, can I get your name? He goes, where's my manners? My name is Zach Gremery. It's nice to meet you. Zach's Gremery. It's nice to meet you. As he goes, Issei Hudo. It's nice to meet you too. Wait, nice to meet you too. So, ever since then, basically the first year of, like I said, middle school, into the second year, Sir Zex and him have, known each other. Sir Zex always hangs out with Issei, comes by whenever he can, hangs out with him, and they had that brother bond early. Well, while basically Sir Zex does not know, Issei has been, he found a job. Someone helped him. Someone that's not going to be told right now, but she has helped him find a job. She's been taking care of him, because, and because of everything, and she was worried. But she also knows Sir Zex. I'm not going to say who, but anyways, she's been taking care of him, and, like a mother basically would to a child. And so she's always been there for him. She's also encouraged him to basically learn self-defense classes, so Issei has trained and learned mixed martial arts. Though the mixed martial arts were relative hard at first for him, but then all of a sudden he started getting the hang of it relative quickly, to the point where he is, well, at least, should I say, he hasn't not mastered it, or there's no way of mastering, because, Issei believes there's always ways to improve. So, he basically has learned mixed martial arts. He has also know different fighting techniques. Give me a minute. Sorry for this, guys. I'm downstairs. Okay, sorry. It was just not something to worry about. But anyways, so as I was saying, yes, he has a job. Basically, it pays him 2,000 yen every hour. So Issei does have a few cash, and he does help out with the expenses that Sir X would pay, because he wants to be independent somewhat. And Sir X understands, so he only helps out, like I said, a little bit. But anyways, though, the training, martial arts, and different, fighting techniques and karate, and, everything he can learn, because he thinks of anything he can still improve upon himself. So, basically, what happens is this, though. We definitely go to the scene where Yuma, aka Rainier, asked him out. Issei didn't think anything of it, because in high school, in this first year, he was still known as, they were still known as the perverted trio. But his friends never took him anywhere to, do what they do. And so, everyone still called him it, because they always, end up finding him by accident when they're running away, so he gets beat up and they always apologize. So, he always said it's fine. It's gonna happen to me no matter what, anyways. In which, they say sorry again. So yeah, Rainier went on the date with Issei, and then she said the same cliche line like ever, "Will you die for me?" And then his entire resurrection as a human. Well, technically, resurrection to be a demon, from a human to a devil. Not demon. But anyways. So yeah, so then after that, we basically have all this stuff. All this flashback ends. As then he goes downstairs and he's processing it. He goes, wait, if my mom was human, and my dad was a devil, does that make me then was a half-breed? But since, like I said, he has the knowledge of everything that's happened already, so that means he knows he was resurrected in the evil the evil pieces system. So he was like, and I was resurrected to be a devil. Does that make my human side be gone? And now I am a full-blooded devil? I will have to try to figure this out. But even though he cannot sense anything, he knows something's coming. As when he looks over towards his dinner table, he basically then sees a light. As then it fades, he sees a man with long blonde hair, golden armor, and wings behind him, with a halo above him. He goes, well, he got into a fighting stance unknown to him, though he basically had magic in his hand, and it was ice, basically. As then Michael says, yes, it's Michael, we all know who it is. So Michael says, Issei Hudo, it's been a pleasure seeing you grow, and it looks like it was about time you, fate will have it, you to awaken to your true power. He goes, Michael, right? He goes, one of the angels basically in heaven. He goes, yes, I am. And I'm he goes, uncle. I know. In which he goes, yes. I'm sorry I would not. And then he sees Issei using magic. He goes, what's so funny? Issei says with an irritated voice he goes, oh, my apologies. It's just, look at your hand. Which Issei looks at his right hand, and he has ice covered in his palm. He goes, what the? He goes, that's ice magic. Seems you unconsciously used it. Good. That means basically I have a lot of amount of magic. In which Issei, slowly stops putting magic into his hand as the ice fades away. He just sighs and so, why are you here, uncle? You haven't been in my life for the past 17 years. As Issei, yeah, he knows everything, but he does not know some stuff that was hidden from him. Like, he cannot see through, like, spells that would basically stop him from hearing what happened. He can still see them talking, but he just can't hear them, so he doesn't know. Or basically stuff that will block his vision. So basically, like magical wards of protection. So basically, he goes, yes, well, allow me to explain why am I here? You see, my nephew, I am your guardian angel, so to speak. I'm here to watch over you and to make sure everything is going fine. Which Issei is just like, why? Because we're family. You may not like it, and I know I did not deserve that, need to ever say that, but still, I believe I am. But listen, I only came here to give you a few things. You may have the knowledge already in your head, but some spells that you will have to get a read on, I believe, or understanding of the concepts of them, like forming a light spear, as Issei, kind of relaxes a little bit and just nods. He was like, I can already understand that. But, seriously, why do you want to watch over me? He goes, you are my brother's son. Why would I not want to look out for family? And you have done nothing. And besides, I've seen you grow up. I mean, at first I couldn't believe, my brother the way he looked when he came out of that cave, but then he changed, and I've been keeping an eye on him. Which then Issei eyes wide, and he was like, then why didn't you? Which Michael stops him. He was like, I was told I couldn't, for fate had other things to say. And besides, these things happen, Issei. You already came to terms with that a long time ago. As Michael looks away from Issei, but while Michael was looking away, he saw that, in his eyes he was pained and hurt. Since he saw his, brother dying, he could not do nothing. As then Issei just sighs and like, I'm sorry for asking. You must have been hurting. Hold on. I do not know if anything popped up. Hopefully nothing. So, yeah, but anyways, you must have been hurting too. I'm sorry. Which Michael goes, no. I couldn't even come down into this territory anyways. In which Issei then realized, he goes, yes, the treaty, if you even came down that long ago, this was actually becoming Grumry's territory. Wait, Grumry. Big bro. What the heck? As then Michael just chokes saying like this, so you finally realized it. He's like, yeah, I know, I'm slow on the uptake of things. He goes, no, it's perfectly fine. A lot of things happened to you already. First you were killed, then you were revived, and then became a full-blooded devil. In which he was like, wait, seriously? That actually is true? I thought I'd be still half human. He's like, oh, no, pure blood, devil. In which Issei is like, well then, that sucks. In which he was like, aren't you glad? He was like, I'm glad with being a human. I didn't really care about my devil part. I couldn't ever even access it. As in, Michael nods. He goes, yes, your father did steal away your devil side. Since though, we can't, or should I say, you can't destroy it yet, I can help you with that. But with you, as I said, with these books. As he goes, so you're just gonna teach me and then, keep in touch with me every so often? He goes, yes, and you'll be able to come into heaven, meet everyone else. He's like, wait, you're just gonna let me come into heaven just like that? He's like, of course, we're family. And besides, you have done nothing. I mean, of course, you do get accused of the things that you have not done, but, I mean, you have a good heart. Everyone does something evil and bad in their life. But I always seen you helping out whenever you're needed. Even if we're upset for a good year or two. As Issei just stays quiet and nods. So, Issei goes over to the books, and he asks, wait, can I even read this language? And which Michael just says, just try. He goes, Book of Suppression. Huh? Basically, Michael says, this will basically be help you to suppress your aura. And your magic. After, you basically, how should I say this right? After you unseal the seal that your father put on you for your other half, as the rest of your magic, as Issei nods. So, Issei reads it. He basically, asks Michael questions and he explains some things. The book was how should I say this? It wasn't a thick, a big book, and not that many pages. It was a really short one, and the concept of it. So, when Issei was done reading it, he was like, okay, so I have some magic power because I'm a devil now. So that is from the chess pieces of the 8 pieces that, did they become, as in Michael nods, he goes like, yes, because of your, already hidden power within you, it did not unseal, but some slipped out and changed the evil pieces into 8 pieces that would have, became mutations. In which Issei's eyes widen because he knows mutation piece means there is a very, very big potential that he has. So, he says, right. So basically, though, he starts to, have his aura / magic, flow, and then he quickly tries to suppress it. As it takes a while for it to be suppressed completely to the point where he just seems like a normal human. And then afterwards, Michael says, good. Now then, let's go to the concept of, seals. In which Issei does know them, and this is technically the same book he has knowledge in, but it has been updated, and he even knows about 2, but still, seeing it, then knowing about it, and reading it, basically also helps. So he basically quickly gets a grasp at it, and, from the birthmark he sees, that was on his, how should I say this? Right on his forearm, he basically now understands that was a seal. As the seal is basically his father's crest on him, as he kind of just chuckles. Basically crest / magical circle one, basically. As then Michael does nod, he goes, yes, that is your father's sign of who he was. He goes, yeah. Basically, what he sees is 2 wings, spears, in the middle, something that is, something that basically would kind of say who he was. I mean, he liked dragons as a kid, and he basically, got Draig as a dragon, so he basically put a dragon with with a person on it, just holding a sword out. I just thought it would be kind of funny, and a little bit, thing to be goofy somewhat. Not a serious moment, just say I'm just can't give the whole entire thing about the person on the dragon's head. To be honest, I couldn't even spin that off if I wanted to. So it's just him. It's just basically the dragon's head with wings and spears, and with many magical circles around it. So when Issei's eyes glow, basically crimson red, basically the magical seal legit glows a little bit, and then all of a sudden Issei feels this magical power he has, and then he quickly suppresses it along with his aura, which technically unknown to him, Rias and Sonia felt this. As quickly as it came, they could not get a good lead on it. So they know a high level demonic energy is there, but they don't know which devil could it be. Because this is beyond what they imagined. And so Issei is like, so this is all mine? He goes, yes, you have a lot of magic because of the evil pieces. But I must inform you, here, let me show you. As Michael does touch Issei, as in a hologram, how should I say this? A light version of Issei, a holographic image of him comes off of him, and they say he sees all the magical flow coming. Is shown in red. He goes, "This is all your magic." You see, with a normal basically person that becomes a revived devil has evil pieces being a part of them, but yours, as in he basically shows someone that was. So let's just say it's just someone that is Sanji, Saji, and he has 4 pieces. But he says, "But you, look at yours, as there is the chess pieces, as a core. But for Issei, there is none." He was like, "Wait, what?" He goes, "When you were reviving, and along with your healing, passively healing, and we healed you. Also, unknown to her, the power that you had did not exceed her own. Quite frankly, since you were just human, but when you were dying, your powers were awakening slowly. But they needed a good conductor to awaken, to turn you into what would keep you alive fully. Because of the powers that you have, the abilities you have already." In which Issei is like, "So wait, so you're telling me my own magic transform my cells into that of a devil in a DNA?" He goes, "Yes. So that means, you are 100% devil, a pureblood. But knowing you may say you're 100% pureblood devil, but you're still a human, nevertheless, since you were born and raised in the human world. And you already have a knowledge of the Devil Society," in which Issei, then gets a little serious and goes like, "Of course. Their arrogance have gone on too long, actually. Sickens me, but they think they can do whatever they want. Even some devils think they can just take people and enslave them. How much have they fallen?" Oh, by the way, I'm making this probably over an hour and 30 minutes. I legit am just going to upload this probably a 2-hour video. Because that's how much stuff I want to get through. But anyways, so Michael nods. And he goes, "Now, since we technically have that down, let's go on to your wings before we get to the last thing I want to get to is a magical spear." As basically Issei nods. So, Michael says, "Bring out your wings. Anyone would do." He goes, "So I just focus magic into it, right?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Okay." So he basically focused a little bit of his magic into his wings. All of a sudden, 10 to 12 maybe, I think it's 10 devil wings is to basically show how strong you are. But I'm gonna say it's like Michael, so it's like 12. So basically, 12 devil wings are shown. As then basically Issei's like, "What the? I just got this right off the bat?" Which Michael does saying, "Yes, it seems that way. My nephew. Try to focus them and combine it into one. And pour some more of your magic into them." He's like, "Wait, you..." And then he realized, he goes, "You want to make sure that..." He goes, "No, I know who you are. I'm not saying that. I just want to know if you can do it. Because this will be a good sign. And a precaution you need to take in." Which Issei understands and nods. So, after that, he pours a little bit of his magic into his wings. As slowly, each wing started to combine into one. Until they're basically, when they're one, all of a sudden, it looks like blood shoots off his back. As they wrap around all his wings. And when they're done, all of a sudden they burst. As they form crimson red wings. And they are actual wings. Basically, this is one thing Michael understood how his brother was able to. He was able to change his wings without fail. It did not matter how. And plus, since technically his brother was pretty good with most of the magic he knew, and he learned, was not matter which one. Shadow magic, blood magic, ice, fire, earth. It was like anything his brother, learned, he knows Issei can have. But this was kind of a combination with the blood magic. But, no, that's what he thinks, but then he asks Issei, "So, how does this work?" He was like, "Well, because he became a fallen, and then he became a devil, and since he was, one of the, you know, he was your brother, and my Gabriel's and everyone else's, it was quite simply his devil wings were the ones to basically be a front, to hide himself, but people still knew him. But he wanted to keep his other wings because of, well, he didn't think of them as anything other than a reminder of his past. So he kept them hidden. And though the blood is just because of the devil wings transforming and then kind of growing feathers on them is a gruesome thing, so blood was going to happen no matter what. So it just covers it and holds it so nothing's guts on the floor. Which Michael goes like, oh, that's convenient. He's like, yeah, pretty much. Anyways. Wow, I didn't know I just needed 2 wings. Do I have more of them? He goes, I do not think so. He ever only had 2. He goes, wait, what? He goes, no, when he was in heaven he had more, but after he fell he only had 2. It seems like, though, he became more of a devil than a fallen, but still a fallen nevertheless. Well, cast out, but you know what I mean. Issei nods. He goes, but still, these radiate power, don't they? Which basically Michael does nod very quickly. He goes like, trust me, they do. And I do not want to be at the end of your enemy. The other end of you. Basically being your enemy. And he goes, why? He's like, those things can maybe cut through about, let's say, about a big giant light spear combined with like 200 or 300 people. Your father was able to cut through a light spear with just one of his wings. Which Issei just looks at him and in shock. He was like, even though I have that memory, I still did not believe it. Good to know that actually happened. Okay, well, yeah, so out of that, the wings, go back to being like his devil wings, and then all of a sudden they go back into his body. He goes, well, this is very, very funny. He goes, I know. Anyways, let's get to the light spear. He was like, yeah, wait, I have school tomorrow. I could technically use restore magic so I can restore my, fatigue. Which Michael just chuckles, be like, well, he was like, your father usually would have said that when he studies. He goes, I'm too much like my father, aren't I? He was like, no, you're also like your mother. Wait, quick question. Is she, which he does not, along with your father? In which he just smiles, he goes, I'm glad they're fine. In which, then after that, Issei, reads, basically reads some stuff on light spear making, and then Michael tells him to basically get a design. And so, Issei thinks of the spear to basically, he wants to throw it, but when he throws the spear, it's short. Alright, so basically though, but when he throws it, all of a sudden it, expands and gets longer to actually be a normal spear, but then he thinks, but I want it to propel even faster. So then he hears a voice saying, what about fire? Add into it. When it basically extends, fire shoots it, basically extends it, not extends it, accelerates it to go faster. And he goes, yes, that works. Wait, no, I'm not focused on that now. So, he focused then on the blade. He wants the blade just to be a normal spear blade, basically. But then he thinks, but then it has it basically can have ice covering it when it's basically about to be thrown. But then light, yes, light goes through this ice. But the ice ain't ordinary ice. When light hits it, it becomes energy. So technically the spear will become, has an energy base around it to make it where it'll basically go through anything relatively ease or pierce the opponent into something and keep it there. Now, for basically the back of the spear, he wants it to where there are spikes on it so that way if it goes all the way through someone and it gets stuck there, they'll have a hard time moving or getting out. And plus, he wants it to, have a curve at the end of it so that way he can just swing it around on his finger if he ever needs to. The spikes are around the outside while there's nothing inside the circle. Besides, he can also put a string through it if ever needs to, have it come back to him. So that way, even the ice will then freeze its opponent. So, basically, after he thinks that the construct is made, as Michael is technically surprised, and he goes, I didn't think I could actually do this. I mean, seriously. He goes, well, if Phones can do it, why not you? He's like, true. So anyways, after he desummons that, he goes, Uncle, I know I have a cousin. His name is Volley, right? Which Michael buys one. He was like, but then he chuckles. He was like, I should have expected that from you to know that already. But yes, you see, a man named Volley was your father's, blood brother that he considered a real brother. After everything, in which Issei nods in understanding, and so he gave him the name Lucifer. Well, your father gave him the name Lucifer. So that way his family had a last name. You see, Volley had no last name, neither does his family. But he gave them the name Lucifer to basically rule over. But, as you can tell, well, the other devils took the place and became the new 7 Satans. Basically, there's, well, as you know, Sir Zex, who became the title of Lucifer. Then there's a girl named Seraphol Leviathan. And, give me a minute. I knew I always had trouble saying his name. And Adruka Bezabul. So, and there's a last one, but I cannot think of that right now. Which Issei just nods. So, anyways. So basically that's the 4 Satans that rule under, the underworld, while the council. Alright. Which then Michael says, I must be going, Issei. It has been a couple of hours, so heaven will be, worried of me missing for so long. And he goes, I understand. And thank you for making your presence instead of hiding right away. He goes, I promised my father that I would watch over you if anything happened to your father if he ever had a child. So it did not matter to me. I would have done it anyways. Which Issei just smiles. And so, though, he was like, but to be honest, I'm kind of wondering about this voice I had in my head, which that kind of stopped. Well, Michael, he was, Issei, focus something into whatever part of your body that is the most dominant. In which he was like, huh? What do you mean? He was like, just focus your energy into it. As Issei certainly right and left-handed, so he just tries his left arm. As he focused some of his magic into it, and then all of a sudden, something starts glowing on his arm. As it's basically the gauntlet. It's not gonna be like the first stage. No, it's basically the second stage, where it actually shows the boosted gear, not the twice critical one. As he's like, what the? What's this? As then Michael says, it's the boosted gear. As then he hears a voice going, well, that sounds like many. He goes, correction. I am Draig, but I am not Draig. As that shot, Michael was like, wait, the Red Dragon Emperor, but why are you saying you are not? He goes, I see he did not tell you. As then Issei just realized something that comes into his head. He goes, he asked you, didn't you? And you accepted it, but why? As then, Michael was like, what do you mean? So, Issei just tells him this. God taught to Draig after stealing him away a year after, everything. In which Michael understands. And then he asked Draig if he was ever, one of his hosts to ever be the son of his former friend / owner, to basically would he like to be something more different than just the boosted gear. And so, that means, as soon as he became, basically, I became his new partner, he would basically be able to use many of the, all 13 sacred gears of Longitis, along with only using 2 boosted gears specific to 2 god-level dragons, in which Michael is shocked. He goes, wait, you mean, as then basically Draig says, yes, the Oberos dragon Orphis, and, well, the red dragon, big red, great red. But do not worry, those will be mainly, well, gears that will basically suit them. In which Michael's just surprised. So he goes, so that means you can do whatever you need to with these sacred gears, but what will happen to you, Draig? He goes, they will work alongside with my partner. I will still be there. But imagine the balance breaker of, well, the boosted gear along with the Vanishing Dragon's boosted gear combined into one, in which that shocks Michael. And then he goes, any other weapon of the, well, sacred gears combined with this boosted gear will coincide because I already have all of them be a part of me in some way or form. In which he goes, but why would my father? He was like, because it's the only thing he can do for his grandson. In the end, that is. In which Michael understands and nods. So, after this, Michael does go over to Issei and just say, train as much as you can. I will come in times of need, or if ever you need help with it. I do not care about my duties as your uncle and your guardian. I will be there for you, Issei. But please stay away from, well, the devils here. You already know who they are. Or at least try to keep your presence unknown. Rias probably knows that you are her pawn, and she can still feel the energy within you. And though the pawn pieces are gone, that energy from them is still there. So she can technically know that you're still alive anytime. As in Issei does, saying, I understand, uncle, but thank you. Now, please, get back to your duties before, well, Gabriel starts to worry and get a big tire search party. In which Michael nods and says, right. And then so he disappears in light, and then he basically, travels. And, well, travels back up to heaven. Now, Issei. Actually, give me a minute, guys. I'm gonna start making some lunch. I've been making this for an hour, and so we're like 1:03, so give me a minute. Alright, if you guys hear that noise, that is basically my lunch being cooked, so. Anyways, though. So basically, after Michael leaves, Issei looks at his, well, sacred gear. He goes, so, are you still the boosted gear? And, well, Draig says, yes, I am. But for right now, I only came out to show myself to you because, well, of your magical power. But you'll still need to train. When you do get to a certain level, I'll basically come back into this form. But right now, you'll basically go in a form that will basically look like you're no match for, you're basically will be out of your league, even with the most weakest of fallen angels or devils. And she was like, seriously? He was like, yes. But do not worry. Anytime in need, you'll still be able to, well, use any of the other sacred gears. I promise you. Does that also entail with the boosted ones? And technically, Draig says, of course, sacred gears can become boosted gears, and vice versa. So, do not worry. Which then he just says, that's a lot. And he goes, of course, but I believe in you. And so Draig becomes what Issei would get like in canon. Basically his sacred gear. So basically, yeah. Anyways, after that, Issei, deactivates and just sighs. You're like, so, my life begins and ended today. Wait, how do I look now? So Issei thinks he probably didn't change much. So when he goes into the mirror, he sees himself totally different. As he is shocked by this, he goes, do I want to change myself, or do I want to? Nah, I don't care. It's 3 o'clock. I can get some sleep. So Issei just falls asleep. In which, when he wakes up, he does whatever he needs to do, and then he walks all the way to school. When he gets near the school, he sees people from his school just looking at him. girls are whispering about it. Guys are like also whispering. The girls are basically whispering like, "Who is he? He's really cute. Wait, does he go to our school? No way!" Like they don't realize who he is. Like even though he has the same hairstyle as Issei, his eye color is different, and the way he's walking is so like different too. In which, technically, Issei's just sighing and be like, all these people are just talking about me like I'm new here. Well, my look, of course they would. This is gonna be a problem. So he keeps walking, and everyone's just in shock by this. So when Issei gets to his class, everyone said the rumors are true, and the guys are saying, "Oh my God, no!" And there are like guys here. You just do all the girls basically. And then when he sits in Issei's seat, Motohama and Matsudo come over, and they know Issei for years. No matter if his hair color changed or his eye color changed. They're like, "Yo, Issei, what's up, my man?" Matsudo says, and then Motohama's like, "Yes, how are you? I mean, after what happened to you yesterday, I mean," he goes, "Oh, yeah, my date ended pretty lousy. She did. We kind of broke up, guys." In which he knows that about the devils would technically erase people's memories of her, even the fallen. So they're like, "Well, that sucked." In which anyone who heard him. So basically, these two girls. I'm going to killing say their names because I know I'm gonna say them wrong anyway. In which then Issei hears these two girls scream, saying that can't be him. As then he looks over, he sees Mert, Yama, and Caddis. As he goes, "Oh, how could this not be me?" Just because you. As she has a slight blush on her face, along with basically Caddis has a slight blush on her face, along with Motoyama, and he goes, "Listen, I'm not gonna say this to you again, but I will not try anything. So do not worry. Besides, I have no point in even trying." In which he then looks back at the board. So, unknown to everyone, Issei, like I said, he did change. Like he did, learn some stuff, like say martial arts, and he has his own job. In this case, that took a lot of his time, and for the 2 years until the second year, he realized he cannot he cannot be at like this no more. But he only acts like it like a pervert. Like I said, the pervert trio is because of what people think of him, because he knows Motohama and Matsudo, and the fact that his father told him to basically, not to raise suspicion. So, yeah. And after that, after this, him being a devil, he's not, being a full-blooded devil, he's not going to, hide it no more. He doesn't even care about anyone in the school, actually. Well, the time besides Matsudo and Motohama. They're, his actual friends, stuff. So, basically, Katis looks at her best friend. I said I was not going to remember them, but Murayama, as they both really are just confused. So, then, all of a sudden, when Matsudo is about to say something, the teacher comes in and he goes, "Alright, everyone, let's wait, I'm sorry, who are you?" He looking at Issei, and he's like, "Oh, hello there." Well, homeroom teacher. I don't know the names of the teacher, so he's just like, "It's me, Issei." He's like, wait, what?" He's like, yes, I know, it's a shocker, but please, can we just start the lesson, or at least homeroom?" He's like, yes, let's begin." So, I'm gonna check my lunch real quick. Okay, so, basically though, homeroom happens. The class goes on, like normal. But, the thing is that it's different during the lunch break. Issei goes up to the rooftop. As then, when he gets to the roof, he sees somebody. Someone with silver hair, white hair, golden eyes, with a cat pin in her hair. As he goes, "Oh, I didn't know anyone was up here." As she looks at him and she well, she doesn't have like a shocked face, but she is still surprised. She goes, "Who are you?" He goes, "Oh, my apologies. My name is Issei. It's a pleasure to meet you. She goes, Kanako." It's like, "Oh, well then, Kanako. It's nice to meet you." And she's like seeing him, and he's like, did I make you offended or something, or mad in the past?" She goes, "No. Don't you remember me?" As Issei looks at her confusedly, as then she goes, two people harassing a girl for her number or to hang out when she had a bag and from a candy store in front of it. As in Issei's eyes wide, he was like, "Wait, that was you 2 years ago." And she does nod. And he goes, "I'm sorry. At that time, I wasn't really focusing on anything else but to get stronger and to survive. And I didn't really pay attention to many things besides school and my work and my studies." And which she looks at him confused. He goes like, "But aren't you the part of the pervert trio and you're one of them?" He's like, "Oh, actually, no, I'm not even a part of it. My friends are, well, the pervert duo, but everyone just assumes I'm a part of it because I talk to them. They're really good guys. It's just you have to look past, what they do, and you can find out they're pretty fun to hang out with. Besides, they were only there for me when I needed them the most. They basically kept on trying to get me out of my rut and try to have some, life in my voice again. Thanks to them, I got out of the way I was. And the fact with some help with other people, like my big brother and my mother figure." Which she goes, "Huh? Oh. You probably don't want to know something so stupid." She goes, "Well, not stupid, I mean, like, something so tragic or something." Which, Kanako just look at him and goes like, "Hey, it's making you upset. You can tell me." So he goes, "Fine. Well," so he explains about his first year of middle school and what happened and what he's been doing ever since then. And she says, "I see why. You consider them good friends." He goes, "Yep. They always have my back on anything I wanted to do. And they're just happy I don't judge them for what they do." So Kanako just look at him and just then a little smile goes on her face. She goes, "You're a really good person." He's like, "Nah, no, I'm not really, but anyways, I'm sorry for not noticing you right away." She goes, "It was 2 years ago. I mean, it was a year ago, so don't worry." He goes, "But no, seriously, I should have remembered you. Again, sorry, Kanako." She does, again, say, "Again, no worries." So, after that, we basically just have her and him chatting. But meanwhile while he was chatting, he basically, though, can sense, demonic presence of hers, devil aura. As he was sensing a lot of devil aura and magic, was all around the school. As he goes into himself in his head, it's like, "So, she's a devil. By what I understand, a rook. Great defense. Interesting. Maybe I should make my own evil pieces. I am merely a pawn, but I am also the son of Satan. Wait. Tonight I have to call somebody. See if the contract, the blood contract my father has still extends to me too. This would be quite interesting for the Phoenix family." So, well, I'm gonna wait. I'm actually about to eat, in the next... Oh, wait, I still have some time. I got 2 more minutes. Actually, I need to check on it, so... Okay, yeah, just still 2 more minutes. Anyways, though. So, basically, while they're talking, the lunch bell does ring, and he goes, "Well, Kanako, I'll be going now. But hopefully we can meet again." and she does not. So, after that, he leaves. And she's thinking, I'll have to tell Rias. Something's off by him. She'll know, but, I wonder what happened to him. So, afterwards, well, Issei goes through school like normal. But, in this case, after school, he goes to his job. In which, when he gets there, he's like, Issei, what's up? He goes, hey, boss. So, how's everything going? He's like, fine. Then when he looks, he sees Issei. He's like, my boy, what happened? He's like, oh, I kind of decided to change my look a little. What do you think? He goes, it looks good. Anyways, can you basically start, lifting these boxes around and then get up to, finance? He's like, right, I can. So basically, Issei's job, it's like just one big building that allows him to work in different sections. This is why they pay 2,000 yen every hour. Basically, if I think that's correct, that's $20 an hour. So yeah. Basically, there's a warehouse that he goes to, that he works at. Then he basically works on each floor. Basically, there's 16 floors, which Issei helps out in any one. He even does janitorial. Basically, he does everything. That's why he gets paid $20 an hour. So, yeah. So, anyways. So, after he's done with work, on the way home, he goes, man, that was a long day. I'm just glad it's over. So, after that, he noticed there were still some people out, but then all of a sudden there's no more. As then he sees a man saying, well, not sees a man, here's a man saying, I have to clean up her mess. As then Issei looks, he sees this man in a fedora and a gray, oh, it's done. Alright, hi everyone, I'm back. I just ate my lunch. So, as I was saying, after he basically, like I said, he sees this man in the fedora and trench coat, and Issei goes like, this feeling. Wait. As then Draig does come into his head, he goes like, yes, it's a fallen angel. So, he goes, wait. I can't believe you actually are the guy Rainier failed to kill. I don't know how she could, fail at this. As Issei goes, wait, Rainier, is that her actual name? In which Issei's playing dumb, but he knows, so... Byakuel? I think it's Byakuel. Basically, he goes, I revealed already too much. And he goes, so it is her actual name. Okay, I'm gonna see if my dog needs to go outside, so give me a minute. Okay, so, as I was saying, Byakuel, basically, he's looking at Issei, he was like, it doesn't matter if you know her name. You're just gonna die. As when he basically throws a light spear towards Issei. I mean, Issei just simply smiles at this. And, well, he basically turns to the side, but then extends his hand, his right hand catching it. Which he's like, what? But you're... I mean, he, by the way, if you're wondering how he knows, he saw Issei walking to school. Well, more like, I remember now, is that he calls him basically a straight devil, but let's just say he said he can't believe Rainier failed. Yeah. I'm just saying he followed Rainier and, so that Rias Grumry saved him, but he knows there's no, symbol on him. So he basically could still say he's a stray. But basically, though, he sees, Issei's holding the light spear in his hand. He's like, why are you not burning? As he goes, oh, quite simple. As then he pours some of his own magic into it, as the light spear starts to change into his own. In which, so the light spear is not, it's a different color. So it's a crimson red. As Byakuel's in shock, he goes, because I ain't no ordinary devil. As then when he throws it, basically it extends and fire shoots out of it. And it's going faster. It has the ice and then the light, which makes energy. basically, it's formed like you could say just light, but I mean, I would say it just like it's energy. And so, what happens next is though, he Byakuya tries to stop, like tries to get out of the way, which he does barely, as then it does hit his side, which then causes him to get like half his body starting to freeze. Well, I mean, starts to. It's like not quick, but it's like slowly. As then Issei, says, "Since I'm in such a good mood for you telling me what her name really is, I'll let you live. Anyways, goodbye, Fallen, and I hope you have a good day." As Issei suddenly just snaps his fingers, as the whole entire barrier that he put, just so that it would be alone, just it's like disappearing. As he goes, "I have to leave." So he basically flies away. As Draig says, "Was that a good idea?" He goes, "Probably not. But anything that my light spirit hits, I have a feeling I can basically sense where it is. And since I already got a read on his magic, I'll be able to, track him easily." As his eyes glow a little bit, crimson red, as then, basically Drake's like laughs. So, when he gets home, hold on. So, like I was saying, after that scenario happens, he gets home. And what he does is, he goes, I'm gonna need to test out my magic. But I need a good place to train. Only I can basically use a big enough magic without the other, devils noticing me. In which, Drake does say nothing. But, he starts to practice the magic he knows. He's going with basically the lowest magic. They're all elementals. And then he does some things that aren't basically, that doesn't require much training. He does creation magic, invisibility magic, basically some light magic along with darkness magic and manipulation, fire manipulation. He practiced all of these in the span of 5 hours. In which he realized he's very good with certain magics, like trap magic and creation magic. So technically, he basically is thinking he's gonna need to train a lot with these. So he basically cannot wait to see what will happen. But the magic that he's mostly into is the dark magic and the fire and ice. He wants to see where he can go at those mostly. But he would not like to have light magic and mix in with holy magic. So just to balance everything out. Anyways, alright. So basically, after that, he basically goes to bed. Rias never saved him from, the fallen angel. And she doesn't know, she basically sensed the fallen angel, but she doesn't know what happened. And so Issei would never wake up to Rias, being in his bed and such. So when he wakes up the next morning, Draig does say, "If you want to, you can train in your mindscape." He goes, "Huh?" "Yes. You can train along with the boosted gears in your magic that you have." He's like, "Seriously?" He goes, "Yes." "Why are you so strong?" He's like, "I just thought," he goes, "Look, I know what I said, yes, basically 2 nights ago, but I was thinking it over and let's face it, there's too much for you to learn, not enough time." He goes, "Right, thanks, Drake." He goes, "No problem." So, but he was like, "Wait, I forgot to summon someone." Wait. Oh, it's only 5 in the morning. I didn't get that much sleep. Why am I not tired? Then Drake says your father was never really that much big on sleep. And his sleeping patterns was usually erratic. So he never really had a good time of sleep and waking up. As Issei goes "Oh, I see. Hold on." And which Issei says, "Well, that's a good thing. No wonder why my dad never got mad at me waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning." Which Drake just says, "Yes, he understands. Your mother didn't, though." And he does sigh because he goes, "Yeah, that is true." So, after that, Issei, he goes down to his living room, and then he basically, closed his eyes, and for a few minutes he let his magical power flow, and then, he basically bites his thumb, and then legit starts saying this: "For the contract my father held, and if it is still in the name and in the blood of Satan, I summon thee from the house of Phoenix, the long since descended of the very first Phoenix. Come to my aid, and by my name is Issei Satan." And basically, when the drop of blood hits the floor, all of a sudden a magical circle comes into form, and then basically of the Phoenix, basically, devil family, and then also a magic, fire starting to basically, swirl. As it's only when it's revealed, it's only one girl who is, with blonde hair and I think it was green eyes, but let me double check. So, as I was saying, basically it's dark blue eyes. As she's wondering, wait, where am I? I was in my room, and then now I'm here. As when she looks, she sees Issei just staring at her, nonchalant face, but then all of a sudden he gets into a little grin. He goes like, "So, the contract with the Phoenix that my father held still runs in your family today, eh, little Phoenix?" As her eyes widen, she basically has magical fire inside her hand. Goes like, "Who are you?" As then Issei just sighs, and her fire goes out. And when she goes like, "Wait, I can do that?" When she was like, "What the?" As then when she's about to make another magic attack, Issei, he just woke up, so he's like not in the mood for this. He goes, "Can you please just stop?" As when his eyes were still glowing, crimson red, she basically stops in her place, and she goes, "What the? I can't move." As he looks at her, he basically goes over to her, and he goes, "Listen here, little Phoenix. Your family had a contract with my father by blood, and only because of his blood you became to the status of where you are now. Do you want to at least hear my name, or do you want to try to kill me again? I already have died once. I do not want to die again." In which she does nod her head. "Oh, listen, I'm sorry." And he basically stops, his eyes glowing, which then he has, just green eyes. And which she kind of, she would blush because he's, close now. He goes, "Good. Now then, allow me to make us some breakfast." In which then Issei goes to the kitchen, start making some breakfast. She's just looking around, wondering where she is, trying to think of strategies on how to escape if needed, to call somebody. And then when Issei comes over, it's just basically you say sausage, bacon, rice, and eggs. Why not? And she's like, "Huh? Where are we? And why would not eat this?" And then she remembers what Issei did, and she's like, I don't want to eat this just in case." He goes, "Well, first off, where you are, you're in the human world, in my house. And second off, I know what you meant, you're used to high-class food, but please, the human world has some good food too. Please enjoy." Obviously, there's some, he did saying coffee's being made if you drink any. I like it every so often. And it's too early in the morning for me to be up. Well, technically, it's 5, so yeah, I need some coffee just to keep me awake for a bit. And she goes, "Oh, okay." So she eats, and she's kind of surprised, on the food that she asks, "What did you do to it?" He's like, "Just throw some seasoning, then how should I say this with the bacon? I cooked it, but then I coated it in something that will wake us both up." In which she was like, "Oh." So after that, basically, she does say, "That was very good," to my surprise. He goes, "Thank you. I basically would have cooked a little bit better, but I'm not in the mood to." And basically, he does. When she was finished eating, he did get up and get his coffee and such, and gave her. He asked what she wanted: tea, water, milk, juice. I have, like, whatever. And she goes, just tea. And so he brings over the tea, though. So he goes like, well, what is your name, though? I know you are a phoenix since I summoned you. She goes, Ravello, you. He goes, Issei Satan. And basically her eyes widen, and she goes, what? No! He was like, do you know of your family's contract with him? To basically serve under him no matter what. And it would have gone down by bloodline no matter where or time it is. She goes, yes, but... And then he goes, so, how was I able to summon you then and know of this contract? In which her eyes widen and in shock. Because, but he's supposed to be dead. He goes, promise me you'll never reveal this. She goes, huh? You must swear to me, and only this I can tell you, to prove my story. And so she nods. And so he tells her the events of what happened. In which the sudden change, the sudden, actions of, well, basically the king at the time does make sense. Does, everything makes sense then, and along with now that he actually is dead, and that this is, his, basically son, she basically feels kind of ashamed that she's about to attack him. And before she can say sorry, he goes like, to be fair, I saw of you without it, well, without you knowing. So to be fair, your actions were reasonable. But I only wanted to come to see if someone basically would come. And I know of your family, and your brother. Quite frankly, I hate him. He really is nothing more than just pathetic. Along with that but that marriage engagement he's in, she only sees her for her body and nothing more. That is very, very pathetic, even more. In which Rhaenyra nods. And then he basically he's looking at her. She goes, so, what am I to you? He goes, well, an ally. But maybe also a spy to keep me informed of such things. I have a plan that I've been thinking of, but I need to get stronger, so I need to test out my abilities against someone, and I can help you to get further upon your abilities too. You already know your Phoenix family's, special ability, but the true power of the Phoenix lies deep within you that your family has neglected all these years and forgotten, and I can help with that. He, takes a sip of his coffee, which Ravello's looking at her tea, and she goes, what do you mean? He goes, the Phoenix flames that heal you can also be used. As I was saying, basically, about the Phoenix flames, you can heal yourself instantly and regenerate your limbs, but furthermore, it can also heal those around you. In which her eyes widen, and she goes, but this practice was long since forgotten by your family. And plus, I think your family currently thinks it's irrelevant since it should only be used for your family alone, no one else's. In which she sits silent. So, he asks, and plus, I needed members of a Purage, but that will be for later. Besides, my plan is to help the Gremory girl to, how should I say this, not be in a marriage she hates. In which Ravello is in shock, but then she smiles and goes like, good, my brother really needs to have his, a good, reality check. As then he does smile, he was like, oh? Do you love your brother? She goes, yes, but his actions have become really annoying. And technically all the girls in his Purage hates him. They're just used to him by now, doing whatever he wants to them. As he says, I see. So, I will, need your help, I was saying, to, train and help you with your flames, too, to attain this power. What do you say? She basically, finishes her tea, but then gets up and basically does a curtsy or whatever with her dress and says, I will help you, my lord. No matter what. By the name of the Phoenix, I am your servant. And he goes, alright, but I'm a kind master, so you're allowed to call me by my name. Issei is fine. She goes, alright then, Issei. I'll be leaving now. I'll get in contact with you when I can, but when can we start training? He goes, in these few days. Alright? She nods. What he says basically by tonight he has work, so he'll be home by like 9 something. So basically she nods and then she leaves. Issei then gets dressed and heads to school. And for the next couple of days, yeah, he basically meets Azia. He does train. He doesn't get nothing happen to him by Rias, and along with the fact that Surzex has, talked to Issei, but not in person. He has not seen him. And, well, he basically, the whole entire Renair thing did happen, and Azia was taken. But the thing is, since he does not have to go to Rias for help and anything, oh yeah, Ravello did learn a couple of things about her family. Her flames have increased in power, and also she basically can heal people from far away with basically flames she shoots out. It's really something that she never thought that she could do. And also, because Issei, technically still, like, his blood is, from his father, is in contrast with Phoenix, he technically can regenerate his limbs too, but not as quickly as them, and he cannot really die anyways. So, we will technically go to where Issei is in front of the church. Basically, it's the afternoon, he goes, they want to, well, take our sacred gear. I will not allow it. As all of a sudden, he basically starts, having his power, like, flared out, as everyone is shocked. You see, the girl that would have gone to, like, spy on them, and then she calls for backup. Yeah, they're all there. As when he basically kicks open the. No, wait, I forgot. He did, save Kanako. He did save Azia. The fact is, the stray priest was sent. Actually, yeah, I forgot that scene. I wanted to do that. Okay, so basically, those couple of days pass. Yeah. So basically, this is the day beforehand. So Issei's just walking home, and he's about to go train with Ravel. But he basically senses a barrier happen, so he runs over, and he basically, just in case his fist and not his fist, with magic, he basically not covered. He basically has the boosted gear, as he did technically get it to the actual boosted gear that we all know. As then he yells out, "Boost, boost, boost, boost!" And then when he punches it, because it yelled at explosion, his strength doubled, and put some magic to his fist. He basically broke through the barrier, runs inside, see Kanako hurt and Azia screaming. As then he looks over at the body. He goes, "Who did this?" As then Freid says, "That'll be me, you stinking devil! I'm gonna friggin' send you back to the abyss where you get." And then Issei goes, "Why did you even do this to him?" And so he goes like, "Because he summoned the devil and his soul basically was tainted by evil, blah blah blah, and sin." As then Issei told him to kneel. As his eyes were, glowing red, crimson, Kanako was shaken by this, because this is when his powers would come out. As he basically just walking towards Freid, and he goes, "How dare you? How dare you do this to an innocent person? Just because he summoned a devil does not mean his soul was tainted. He has sinned. He gave it away. Whatever you want to say, you stupid. Well, you stupid exiled exorcist, priest, whatever you want to call yourself." As when Freid's trying to say something, he's having a hard time. Freid's like, "What? What are you? You can't be that strong. You're just a weak down." As he just gets grabbed by the neck, and he goes, I will send you somewhere where you can never be seen again, and be harmed in the most worst ways possible. Only, a deserving soul like you deserves, along with all the sins you have committed in the name that you think is justice, and for your God. You'll be going to purgatory." As all of a sudden, purple flames start to shoot off of Freid's body as Issei lets it go. And then all of a sudden a magical circle appears, as while he's screaming, a hand comes out of this magical circle and grabs Freid and pulls him into it. With his screams, going on. He was basically sent to purgatory forever. So basically, though, Kanako goes like, Issei! As Issei snaps his fingers, Kanako doesn't remember his face. And Ozzy goes like, wait, Issei! As he basically, alters her memory a little bit, and he gets her out of there. In which then, she kind of, is outside the building where when not Ozzy, but Rias and everyone came, they do get Kanako, but then there was a magic trail where they find Azia. So yeah, so what happens is then, the whole entire thing with him meeting with her, Renner getting taken, yeah, now we're at the point. So you see, all the fallen angels are there. And, well, what happens is simple. When he basically flirts out his power, Rias senses this. She's basically trying to get the barrage ready. And when, he can't open the door, there's enough force and, wind pressure from that. He basically sees all the priests that were there along with the fallen angels. Renner was already went down, and he goes, simple. Let's test this out. As then all of a sudden his boosted gear comes out, but then with his left arm, a white gauntlet appears, but then the wings pop out. Which everyone's like, what the? As then all of a sudden they hear the word divide, As basically they feel like their strengths basically, become weak, they get weaker, and then all of a sudden they hear a boost. Which everyone's then shocked. But then another thing happens. Issei basically just kind of smirks and says, let's see how this works. And when he basically holds up his right hand with the white gauntlet on, he goes, I'm sorry for this, but you took a friend away from me. And I don't like it when my friends get hurt. So basically, the magic he used is destruction. Yeah. He basically, though, shot it out. They all get knocked out. He's still not strong in it, though, because it's his first time using it. So basically, the power of destruction, yeah. So, give me a minute, guys, though. Alright, so, basically, like I said, since he did not train with this power yet, it's not going to be that powerful even with the boost. It's only, and the divine that increases his strength from his enemies, so yeah, they're just all knocked out. Well, because Freid's gone, yeah. And then, he basically already knows where Azia is. Since basically it's like he always has a constant update on everything that's new. Or knows what's happening. Or he can just see it. So basically though, he basically kicks open the actual entryway for the ritual. And when he walks down, he opens up the door with Renner. So I'm like, what the? As Issei is just there, all of a sudden, he has something appear on his, he basically has the white gauntlet comes off his arm, including the white wings. Then all of a sudden, something appears on his arm. As in, when Issei just, moves his arm a little, it shoots out towards Renner, wrapping around her neck. As then he basically pulls on it. In which, all of a sudden, he's basically leeching off the power of hers. And she goes, what? And he goes over to her. He was like, I don't really want to hurt you too badly, but what you're about to do deserves death, but not by my hands. And then he basically just, punched her in the stomach with all the force he had just to knock her out. And, he keeps the, draining line from basically, the prison dragon. He goes over to Azia. She's unconscious still, but he basically touches the chains and then they basically break. He catches her and proceeds to hold her in his arms and just carry her all the way to the top along with Draig and Renner all the way. So, if all the fallen, if all the priests, they all just sort of get tied up. But with the fallen angels, they're waking up with Renner as they see, Azia's on the table, on the chair, the pew or table, chair, whatever. Yeah, and then he's like, "You're awake. I'll send you back to the Grigori." But she goes, "Wait, why are you not killing us?" One of them says, the blonde one, and then he just says, "Simple. I don't kill for no reason." if I don't have the reason to kill one of you, I'm thanking you instead for sparing your life. Wait, no, by sparing your life. Which Renier just eyes widen. As then his eyes go crimson, and he goes, now then, Fallens, go back to your master. As then he basically, summons him away. So, he basically goes over to Asia. He basically, says, Asia, wake up. It's fine. Her eyes are open and she goes, Issei? Wait, where are we? What happened? As he goes, oh, we're back at the church. Anyways, hold on. Okay, so basically, Asia's just like, huh? It's like, not to explain. So he basically explained what was happening, what was going to happen, and he actually tell her when you take a sacred gear, you will die. The holder will, as her eyes are in shock. But he goes, but I came here to save you. She goes, really? He goes, yes. I am, how should I say this? I'm not an ordinary person, Asia. I'm human. Or should I say, I was born human and raised. Not 100% though, human. Just, wait, what? So, he basically just, puts his hand on her head as she gains some knowledge of who he is. As her eyes in shock, he goes, right. We don't have much time, but I wanted to ask you this. As basically, he basically starts summoning out a chess piece. A queen piece. He goes, I want you to be by my side. As my queen. But, I know you have no offensive capabilities, so I can help you with that. But, I also think it would be better off if you be a part of someone else's barrage. She goes, wait, what? As then he summons out a chess piece from, the Occult Research Club. And he goes, listen, if you basically will be hunted down by the Fallen, both with mine and someone else's protection, you'll be safe. I promise you. Which Rias isn't, not Rias, but I mean, Asia is in shock, and she thinks about it. She goes, can you really use two pieces? He goes, of course. Just watch. As all of a sudden, they both start glowing, as they basically are being disassembled on a molecular structure, as basically all the particle effects are combining into one, as basically, after a few minutes, it passes, and there's basically in that place, where they all combine, is a bishop and a queen room, a queen and a basically bishop chess piece combination. As she's in shock. He goes, well, Asia, would you like to become a member of my Parage? And she goes, he goes, I only need you to say yes. And it has to be the absolute truth. No hint of ever wavering. And she's looking at him, and basically after a few minutes, she does take a deep breath in, and out, and she goes, yes, I would like to be a member. And whoever else it is. As he goes, good. So, he basically does a little chant saying, Azio Argento, I, Issei Hiro, hereby have you to become a member of my Parage. Hey, give me a minute, guys. As I said, Issei said, Azio Argento, I make you a member of my Parage, because he's not gonna say, bring back, raise this and she's alive. So basically, the evil piece is being absorbed by her, as then she feels a lot more different. She basically even gained some knowledge. Basically, she's like, wait, how do I use... I basically infused normal, knowledge of the, basically devil system into you. An understanding of it. So, you kind of understand devil society in a whole. And what the evil pieces mean. She's right, thank you, Issei. He basically says no problem. Meanwhile, in Underworld, Ejuka basically was talking to Sir Zex, as then basically they get the beep, and yeah, they're on their way over to where the signal is of how should I say this? A never foreseen, event. Right when after that, Issei notices this, and he smiles. And then he basically stands up, he goes, it looks like we have some company, Asia. In which then Rias and her Paraj comes, and then basically Rias goes like, "Wait, you're," as he basically says, "Rias Gremory. It's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. I'm surprised you didn't even try to, well, talk to me. After all, I am your pawn." As which her eyes widen, in which Kanako eyes widen too. He did have his talk with Kanako every so often, but, he did technically stay away and never was seen by Kiba or them, so right when he said that, before Kanako could even say anything, Surzex and Beelzebul, Ajoka comes, basically. And then, well, he hears Ria's voice says, "Big brother?" In which then he looks over and Lisa goes, "Well, this is quite a predicament I'm in, isn't it?" And so, technically, this is where I'm gonna end it off because I'm making this too long. I almost got everything I wanted. Part 2, I will probably make tonight. So, hope you guys enjoyed this part. I'm gonna try to upload this. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna try to upload this. Yeah, I'm gonna upload this right now. So, anyways, bye everyone. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are, and bye.